sure many of our viewers are as well. He was effectively, you know, homeless. He lived in the jungle for a long time, and he would come into town and he would look through the window at people training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he was invited in by the proprietor, and the deal that they struck was, as I understand it, that he would get coaching as long as he slept in the gym overnight, kept it secure and cleaned it up, and he so developed from those humble beginnings to a wonderful lifestyle that he's got now, and he still maintains this high level of skill.
And his humbleness as well, Steve. If you ever had the pleasure, ever had the pleasure of speaking to Bibiano, he was just so humble. You wouldn't even know. Well, now you can tell because of his years that he's a world champion.
The years of the sign. And see, look at this. This is typical Bibi. Invites a youngster into the ring to show him the ropes.
Formidable opponent Bibiano's got. You got to be careful not to hurt himself before he's out.
Yeah, well, you know, you mentioned it, having a chat with him. I've been very fortunate to have many long conversations, because he is a very smart man, and he really does like to sort of question the philosophy of the world, and he'll sit down with you. I've sat with him for hours and chatted to him, and he's a wonderful man to speak to.
He really is, really a cerebral guy. Even in the way he approaches his bouts, you know, he goes through positions where he's the strongest. He's able to neutralize his opponents because of that thinking ability, Steve.
Do you think he's met his match here?
This guy's going to take him out. Bibiano needs to be careful. Bibiano over here transitioning into some submissions.
I don't see anyone tapping yet. Oh, I think the young fellow might have won that on points.
Bibiano did well to get out of that one.
All right, now we move to the big stuff. A little adjustment in size and weight. Here you'll see, we saw Christian and Angela moving so fluidly, didn't we? And of course, brother and sister, they trained with each other so much. It did look like, well, it wasn't, but it looked like something that was choreographed. It was so smooth. But Bibi, this is almost like second nature to him, isn't it?
It really is. Now, one interesting fact is Bibiano actually trains out with Demetrius Johnson, with Matt Hume. Oh, yep. And he just has that incredible clinch style that transitions to position as well.
Just look at the smooth way that he moves around the side of his training partner, from front to back, on top and underneath, and swiveling. Got such a great low center of gravity.
Bibiano over here working on some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, working his back, working the back take. Now, Bibiano actually defeated Kevin Belingon in their first bout by Kimura. Kevin Belingon threw a kick, Bibiano caught it, was able to take him down and then just secure the position and then the eventual submission. Now, this is their fourth bout together, Kevin and Bibi. I'm interested to see what adjustments they make for this bout. They know each other very well. They've competed against each other for so long. So many minutes logged into getting to know each other's style and the way, their timing and everything.
I guess you hit the nail on the head there when you take the same athlete on so many times and you're involved. I mean, how many rounds have they done together? They must have done...
Countless.
I mean, Bibi and Kevin will have done, what, 14 and a half rounds, something like that? I mean, there's not much these two don't know about each other, and they would have watched every video that's available many, many times. So I guess it must be a question of what can you bring to this contest that's new, that hasn't been seen before.
At this point, it's really about who can implement their game plan first. Who is able to take the bout where they're strongest and neutralize the other person's strength, because it's very clear. Bibiano is going to try to take Kevin Belingon down, and Kevin Belingon is going to look to try to knock out Bibiano.
The difference between their first contest and their second, that's where Kevin introduced a huge change in what he could offer. And we've talked about in submission defense in particular. But there's not, I mean, you can't change that dramatically for every contest, can you?
You can't. At that point, you hit a plateau, but like you said, at the end, now you got Kevin Belingon, who's, you would have to say he's close to his prime at this moment. And you got Bibiano, who I believe is 37 years old this year.
He's around there.
He's around there. So that could be the difference in this bout.
Yeah, Kevin very much at his peak. As you say, that's very true. It's a good point to make. Bibiano is getting on. I'll just call up his exact age for you, see if I can do that. Sure I can.
Bibiano, though, is no slouch on the striking department as well. He's able to hurt a lot of his opponents. He actually hurt Kevin Belingon as well with a good right hand. He's got strong right hands. He's able to knock out. He's got a few knockouts from that right hand as well,
Right,
Steve.
right. Such a finely honed athlete as well. I mean, he's got a thick body there. You put your arms around, around his shoulders. You give him a sort of a pat on the back there. It is just stunning how broad and how strong he is there. He's 39 years old. So a couple of years older even than you and I thought. But there's no sign of that, is
No,
there?
he looks in an absolutely incredible shape. And he has to be in incredible shape when he's going up against a Baguio athlete from the Team Lakay team. They're always known to have incredible cardio, incredible output, and Bibiano is going to have to use everything he's got to defend this title.
So Kevin's 31. Kevin Belingon's 31, which I guess you'd say is around peak year, isn't it? It
Yeah.
must be considered
Yeah.
peak year for someone who's continually working out and learning as well, because you never stop learning mixed martial arts.
You never do. But if you look at the there's a couple anomalies, but usually the age where you peak is about 30 to 33. That's where most of the guys, most of the champions' ages are.
When you consider what Bibiano has achieved in the last 6 years or so.
Absolutely
So beyond that point,
incredible.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely incredible. Bibiano is a talented, gifted athlete. And I cannot wait, Steve,
Yeah,
for
me
this
too.
4th match.
Me too. It's going to be something very, very special indeed. Kevin Belingon and Bibiano Fernandez. This is the 4th time they've met, which is absolutely crazy. Bibi won the first contest, Kevin won the second, and there was a DQ. That man in your picture, Kevin Belingon, disqualified for illegal punches to the back of the head. They now meet for a 4th time, and I just can't wait for this one. Crazy, crazy times. Kevin Belingon, known him for a long time, Gianni. He was one of the Team Lakay athletes who were involved with one championship since the very, very early days. I had the great pleasure of going up to the hills there in Baguio and watching Kevin and his teammates work out, spending a couple of days with them, watching them train in the hills there, the famous hills where they run up to those epic quads that they have here. The thing that's always impressed me about Kevin, separately from, some of the other wonderful athletes in the Team Lakay, is just the seamless movement between attacking with his hands, as you're seeing now, and then bringing up those strong legs that he's got right up to head height. He just does it without any kind of transition.
Steve, Kevin Belingon has really just cemented himself as one of the premier strikers in one championship, if not the world.
We talked about how, as a camp, they've really grown from a team that obviously based itself in Wushu and did so very successfully, really leading the world in many ways. But now they've moved laterally as well, haven't they? They've been able to deal with world-class submission grapplers and cope with that kind of intensity.
They really have, and you got to give credit to the head coach Mark Sangyo, really the mastermind behind all this growth and the success that Team Lakay has been having so far.
Yeah, Kevin really in his first contest with Bibiano Fernandez, you had to say it was somewhat predictable that he wouldn't get through that. Bibi, one of the best submission grapplers on the planet at the time and now. And yeah, no big shock that Kevin didn't get through that one. By their second contest, things had changed slightly. They realized, they knew they had to change. And Kevin was much more able to deal with the submission offense that someone like Bibi provides and managed to get through it. Really, everyone was tremendously excited about what was the rubber match. Belingon Fernandez 3 didn't end in quite the satisfactory way many of us would have liked it to, but we get another shot at it with their 4th encounter here, which presumably will be their last, but there's so much to look forward to here.
Steve, I was lucky enough to be there for the second match where Kevin beat Belingon to take the title. And he really just showcased, like you said, his improved ability to stop the takedown and even hit a couple sweeps on Bibiano as well. But really how he did that was, like you said, his ability to throw punches and kicks so fast. He really is one of the most explosive athletes we have on the roster.
when we talk about submission defense and the ability to improve in that aspect of mixed martial arts, a lot of it, of course, is technique. A lot of it has to be coached. But what is great for Coach Mark is that his athletes are just so strong. When you look at Edward Flyang and you look at Kevin, I mean, their musculature is impressive to start with, isn't it?
So strong and so explosive. And they all have this natural aggression in them. They don't like to lose. That's why they're always jostling for position.